Remember, markets are venues where producers and consumers exchange goods and services. New ideas, called innovations, must be brought to a market by entrepreneurs. And innovators can spot a problem in the world and they dream up solutions. When people hear about a new idea that needs money to become a reality, they will often say, does this make economic sense? Is the idea behind the innovation financially viable? In a broad sense, it means that because people have limited money, they have to make choices every day as to what they value enough to purchase. It doesn't make any sense to produce a product or provide a service if people don't want to buy it. A new idea must find a customer in order to be economically viable. People must be willing to pay for the idea. Innovators and entrepreneurs must always be careful to honestly analyze what a potential market could be. If you find out that your idea won't have a market full of customers, you need to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate your idea. What the? Hang on a minute. Did somebody leave a window open? Let's imagine that you've invented a way to repair and patch a hole in window screens. Nobody likes flies or mosquitoes in the house, so you decide to bring your idea to market. So what's the size of your market? That's easy. Every person who owns a screen, right? Not so fast. That's not how market analysis works. Let's look at this more carefully. Let's start with the biggest pool of potential customers. Anyone who owns a home or a building with screens. That's tens of millions of people in the US alone. Wow, that's a huge market. If you only sell to 1% of that market, you could make millions. Not so fast. All those people don't have a hole in their screens currently. In fact, only a real small number of them might need your product. Okay, so you have to find people who own buildings with screens and there's a hole that needs to be fixed. That's still a huge number of people, so that's the market for this amazing screen patch, right? Not so fast. These people need to be motivated to buy a repair kit and not choose an alternative. But what alternative? Well, maybe they just take a paper towel and stick it in the hole in the screen. Or maybe they do nothing. Either way, those people are not in the market for your repair kit. Then again, I know my local hardware store can repair the screen for you. They'll even come to your house and repair it right there. But that can be expensive, so the screen repair kit still has a chance. So don't lose heart, we're going to find a market yet. So now we need to find someone who has a screen that has a hole and they want it fixed. They're motivated to act and they don't want to hire the hardware people. So now we are down to this narrow sliver of people. And it's still a big market. Oh yeah, if you know anything about economics, then you might remember that demand is the amount of a good or service that consumers are willing and able to buy at a given price. Let's say someone is a potential customer, but remember, if they don't have enough money, they might be willing to buy your product, but they might not be able to. And that's going to narrow your market a little more. Okay. Let's say someone needs a screen fixed. They want the screen fixed and they want to choose the repair kit. And they are willing and able to pay for the kit. That's the market, right? Yes, pretty much. Those are your people and your target customers. Well, maybe.
What now?
Well, they have to know your product exists. And you have to get it in front of them so they can actually choose it. This process is called marketing. Lots of people think that marketing is just advertising, but it's much more than that. According to the American Marketing Association, marketing is the activity and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Finding the customer is one thing, but getting the product produced and placed in front of the customer so at the time they can make the choice to buy it, that is another challenge for sure. So innovation and entrepreneurship sound challenging, and I agree. Selling to consumers can be very difficult. Selling screen repair kits is what we would call a B2C business. That means business to consumer. Another category of venture is called B2B. That means business to business. So instead of marketing to the general public, a B2B only has to market to other businesses. And that can be a bit easier. Let's check to see how our entrepreneurs and innovators are doing with their market analysis. Jorge is creating a system to move fans into stadiums more quickly. He's got a B2B solution, so he will contact sports teams and stadiums, and that seems pretty reasonable. Patricia is creating a system to help smaller regional hospitals help them avoid costly misdiagnoses. There are a few thousands of those hospitals, still a manageable number of customers. Billy is going to try to sell pizza to people in his neighborhood. He hopes that once the word gets out on social media, he will begin to draw people in from all over the city. He's got a business-to-consumer venture. Sophia started a nonprofit business. Primary goal is to help children as a charity. While there are many kids who can benefit from her solution, they are technically not a customer. The kids will use the service, but Sophia's customers will be parents, schools, communities, and funders. Brendan now has dozens of prototypes being used by friends and family. His potential customer base is huge, but he has to convince people that their current way of hanging their toothbrush is unsanitary, gross, and maybe harmful. And finally, Kamal and his group are creating a solution that could potentially help tens of millions of people. But in order to get to those disadvantaged people, he will need to work with local governments and the governments of developing nations and other collaborative partners. So to try out his idea, he's going to do a test program or pilot in his home city. Market analysis requires deep thinking and asking lots of questions. Remember that asking questions and thinking critically is part of the innovation process. If you think that the risk is too much to stomach, you can mitigate your risk by testing inexpensive prototypes and doing solid research. Keep in mind, if you find out that your idea will not appeal to potential customers, you need to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate your idea. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.